Aaron Rodgers shocks fans with emotional revelation about his future with Green Bay. The story of Aaron Rodgers has always been one filled with passion, loyalty, and transformation, and now it has taken another fascinating turn as the veteran quarterback revealed that his long-term plans still involve the Green Bay Packers, the team that gave him his start and shaped his entire football legacy. His words came as a surprise to many, especially considering his current position as the starting quarterback. For the Pittsburgh Steelers preparing to face Green Bay in one of the most emotional matchups of the season, it is a meeting that transcends competition, carrying with it years of history, connection, and mutual respect between a player and the franchise that helped define him. 2 years ago, Rodgers and the Packers went their separate ways after one of the most discussed trades in recent NFL history, sending the four-time MVP to the New York Jets. The split marked the end of an 18-year chapter that included countless highlights, a Super Bowl victory, and unforgettable performances that cemented Rodgers as one of the greatest quarterbacks of his generation. After a brief and challenging stint with the Jets, Rodgers found new life in Pittsburgh, but despite the change of uniform, the bond with Green Bay has clearly never faded. In a recent interview with local media in Wisconsin, Rodgers spoke openly about his affection for the Packers organization and the city that supported him for nearly 2 decades. He expressed that his football journey began and would one day end in Green Bay, a statement that immediately resonated across the sports world. For Rodgers, it is about more than football. It is about the emotional roots that connect him to a place that witnessed his growth, both as a player and as a person. His time in Green Bay brought triumphs, records, and also challenges, but through it all, he developed a legacy built on leadership, intelligence, and poise under pressure. His quote that nearly everything great in his life stems from his football career reflects how deeply the Packers are woven into his identity. He may be wearing the colors of Pittsburgh today, but there is no doubt that the green and gold remain a permanent part of his heart. The timing of his comments could not be more symbolic, with the Steelers hosting the Packers this Sunday. It will be the first time Rodgers faces the team where he built his legend. Fans from both sides of the field will be watching, not just to see who wins the game, but to witness a rare moment in sports where respect and emotion merge. Rodgers might compete fiercely as always, but beneath the intensity, there will be a shared understanding of history and appreciation between him and the Green Bay faithful. It is clear that one day, Rodgers will return to Green Bay, in some capacity, maybe not as a player, but as a legend, to be honored and remembered, perhaps through a ceremonial one-day contract that allows him to retire officially as a Packer. Maybe through the retirement of his iconic number 12 jersey, or an induction into the Packers Hall of Fame. Whatever form it takes, there is little doubt that the organization and the fans will welcome him home with open arms. After all, Rodgers is more than a former quarterback. He is a symbol of an era defined by excellence, consistency, and unwavering belief in the power of preparation. His connection to Green Bay also serves as a lesson in how time can heal even the most complex relationships. His final years with the Packers were filled with tension, debates about team direction, and questions about his future, but the mutual respect has never disappeared. And with each passing season, the memories of what was achieved together grow stronger. Unlike the turbulent departure of Brett Favre, who crossed divisional lines to play for the Minnesota Vikings, Rodgers has only joined AFC teams since leaving Green Bay, making reconciliation far smoother and more natural for the fan base. The upcoming game will be charged with emotion, yet focused on performance. The Packers are determined to prove that they have successfully turned the page, while the Steelers, led by Rodgers, aim to continue their resurgence and solidify themselves as serious contenders. Still, there is a poetic quality in seeing Rodgers line up against the team that drafted him, as if fate itself arranged a reunion of sorts on the field. For a few hours, the past and present of Green Bay collide in a story that reminds fans why they fell in love with football in the first place. Because, beyond the touchdowns and the trophies, there are stories of loyalty, memory, and identity that bind players and fans forever. As Rodgers reflects on his journey, it becomes evident that his legacy goes far beyond statistics and awards. He embodies the idea that greatness is not only measured by wins, but also by the relationships built along the way, by the lessons learned through triumph and adversity, and by the emotional resonance that remains long after the final whistle. When he eventually returns to Lambeau Field, whether for an official ceremony or simply to greet the fans he once led, The roar of the crowd will not just celebrate his achievements, but the connection that has endured the passage of time for fans. This revelation opens a new chapter of anticipation. When will Rodgers come back, in what form, and what will that moment mean for both sides? One thing is certain, the day it happens will be unforgettable, a celebration of history, respect and unity between a player and a franchise whose stories are forever intertwined. If you have followed Aaron Rodgers' career, if you remember the countless Sundays filled with magic passes and clutch performances, this is your opportunity to be part of the conversation. Support this community by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Your participation helps our community grow and keeps the spirit of the game alive. Together, we honor the legends of football and ensure that their stories continue to inspire new generations who understand that greatness is not just about what happens on the field, but also about the connections that last forever.